Alan Dershowitz, Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School and author of The Preventative State. Great to have you here, Professor. What's your initial reaction after I just laid out this story for our viewers? What's your take on it?
It's an old story. You know, Pat Buchanan wanted to turn the Republican Party into an anti-Semitic, almost neo-Nazi party. And Bill Buckley, the intellectual leader of all conservatives, attacked Buchanan and said what you said and did amounts to anti-Semitism. And he basically canceled him from the Republican Party. And Pat Buchanan was never the same since. And now we have Tucker Carlson, who is Pat Buchanan's lapdog, essentially, and trying to replicate what Pat Buchanan was doing, turning the Republican Party into an anti-Semitic party. And that, it would be a terrible thing for America. Remember, the extreme right and the extreme left always have one thing in common. They hate the Jews. Stalin hated the Jews and Hitler hated the Jews. And now we're seeing people on the hard left, Mamdani, hating Israel, hating the Jews. We're seeing people on the hard right, Fuentes and Carlson, doing the same thing. America is a centrist country. It thrives at the center. You can be a centrist Republican like Bill Buckley. You can be a centrist liberal like me. But you cannot be a good American and be a neo-Nazi Holocaust denier or somebody who puts people like that on the air. So shame on Tucker Carlson. Shame on Fuentes, and shame on those Republicans who tolerate him, just as there's shame on those Democrats who tolerate Mamdani, including President Obama.
Yeah, and we're getting reaction to here, Professor, as well. Speaker Mike Johnson, he was asked about the anti-Semitism at the conference yesterday. This is happening in Las Vegas. Watch this. Do we have that soundbite? I guess we don't.
Norm, there's so much to say on this issue, as we both know, and it's certainly concerning to see some pockets, even on the right now, embrace anti-Semitic rhetoric, and we just have to be vigilant guards against that in any place that it shows its ugly head.
So that was the House Speaker there. Do you think he went far enough in denouncing this? And what did you take on his point there?
He's a great man, and he is a strong supporter of the Jewish people and of Israel and of decency and fairness. So I trust what the Speaker has said, and I would hope he would work behind the scenes to make sure that nobody who has the imprimatur of the Republican Party engages in anti-Semitism. I left the Democratic Party, which I had been a member of for 60 years. I left it over anti-Semitism, and I would hope the Republican Party would make sure that it's cleansed of all this filth on the extreme right, which would demonize Jews. What Fuentes says is unbelievable. He denies the Holocaust. He says that Jews control America, that they're destroying America. It's Hitler talk. And we can't allow a great party, the Republican Party, to engage in this kind of Hitler talk or even tolerate it.
How much of it do you think is for clicks? I mean, clearly it's Tucker Carlson does these interviews for just, trying to get traction, right?
Hitler did it for clicks, too. It was before the internet, but he did it to gain support and gain votes. There's no excuse for anti-Semitism. There's no justification. Yeah. Every single decent Republican must denounce the anti-Semitism of the right, just as every decent Democrat must denounce Mamdani and the anti-Semitism of the left. You can't have it one way. You have to be a principled opponent of Jew-hating. Remember that Jew-hating leads to Catholic hating, leads to Mormon hating. Once you start hating one group, it spreads very, very, very quickly.
Yeah. Lastly, just since you brought up Mamdani here in the mayoral race, we've got people going to the polls on Tuesday, your voters in New York City. Your take, I'm hearing that Andrew Cuomo is making up some of that ground, potentially is now in the conversation to win.
Schlesinger could be a great hero by bowing out even at the last minute, and that would maybe turn the election over to Cuomo. Mamdani is a terrible, terrible human being who will destroy New York and destroy the Democratic Party and hurt Jewish constituents. Yeah. So I would hope sensible people would understand that. But, there are a lot of nonsensible people of all religions, including Jews, who are going to vote for Mamdani. It's a terrible thing, and I hope it doesn't happen on Election Day.
We shall see if, in fact, those polls hold true or if there is a change of actually who does show up to those polls on Tuesday. Always a pleasure. Professor Alan Dershowitz, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.